Is out of court today. None of us expected that, thank you. And joining us now is Ty Cobb, former White House attorney in the first Trump administration. It's good to see you. Look, all of us knew that Ms. Halligan is not someone who is experienced, not at all experienced in these kinds of court cases. Nevertheless, what do you make of this latest reporting?
It's shocking. You couldn't find a high school stock boy at Home Depot who could have handled this more ineptly than Lindsay Halligan did. Taking an indictment that the grand jury never saw, having the foreman sign it, and then presenting it to a judge, that's the height of ineptitude and misconduct.
So when you say misconduct, let's talk about the implications for James Comey, because is it a procedural misstep that can be corrected, or is this denying a defendant due process?
It's both, but I think the interesting thing about this development is that there is no indictment, as Michael Dreeben, who is one of the country's most skilled advocates, has 100 Supreme Court arguments, made plain in court that there is no indictment. If only the foreman and some grand juror who was hanging out in the courtroom saw it, that's two. A quorum is 12. You need a quorum to return an indictment. So the indictment that was presented and that they've been proceeding on really is a nullity. And that's potentially procedurally critical here, because typically if an indictment is dismissed, the government has 6 months to represent, notwithstanding the expiration of the statute of limitations. This is an indictment, though, that doesn't really have to be dismissed. It doesn't really exist. It was never properly returned. So I think what we heard today, shocking, never occurred before in American jurisprudence. I think it will be dispositive. But on the other hand, there's so many dispositive issues here, including her illegal appointment.
Well, I do want to ask you about that. You've said that you think both Halligan and Attorney General Bondi could be disbarred over this case against Comey, and that was before we learned what happened today in court. It also raises questions for me that if you're going to use Lindsay Halligan in this manner, the fact that she has no experience, is anyone overseeing that work to make sure that problems don't arise? But what do you think now?
Well, I do think that both Halligan and Bondi should be disbarred. Bondi has twice submitted affirmations to this court about the propriety of Lindsay Halligan's grand jury presentation. She knew this. There's no way she could not have known this, and that's just means that she lied, or that she's equally incompetent, but more likely that she lied.
So let's talk about what happens now. Could this be brought back before a full grand jury? And we're back at the point where James Comey then is looking to get the case dismissed on the grounds of vindictive and selective prosecution.
So that hasn't been dismissed yet, or thrown out, or the nullity been recognized. I do think if the ruling is that there is no indictment, there's no indictment to dismiss. Only if the indictment is dismissed would the 6-month rule for representation come into play. So what happened today is very significant in that regard legally. But yes, Comey has, the misconduct issues, the miscarriage of justice issues, the denial of due process issues, the vindictiveness issues. This case is dead. This case is never going to get to trial. And Comey will, never be held accountable as the government has desired and as the president ordered Bondi to see to.
Apart from James Comey, there is this lingering question about the future of Lindsay Halligan. Along with New York Attorney General Letitia James, Comey is had been separately arguing to disqualify her as the lead prosecutor in their cases, calling into